Hey folks, Bartmoss here. Welcome back to News of the Joystick, May 2017. There are two things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. One is a small, almost cosmetic thing, and one is slightly bigger. So the small thing first, you may have noticed that we have new channel art both on YouTube and Twitch, and of course on Twitter. It's the old plain simple logo, but it's been rearranged. The word Bartmoss has been added, and there's a map in the background. So why these changes, you may ask, or you may not ask, but I will tell you anyway. The name of the channel has been, for a very long time, Have Joystick Will Travel. It used to be Bartmoss Plays, but I found that extremely uninspired. That's why I changed it. I do like Have Joystick Will Travel, but the problem with that is that people do not recognize it, generally speaking, as the name of the channel. So they address me as Half Joystick. I do introduce myself in pretty much every video stream as Bartmoss, but that doesn't seem to be enough. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't mind if people call me that. It doesn't matter. It's fine. But it's not the intent. And there are some attributes of Have Joystick Will Travel that I don't like. It's too long. Some other things that are really pretty minor. So I decided that I wanted to have the name Bartmoss more prominent on the channel art, and Have Joystick Will Travel is now relegated to be more what it really is, which is sort of like a slogan, right? So Bartmoss is my name. Have Joystick Will Travel is sort of like the tagline, if you want. And you can also call me Niels, by the way, of course. That's my real name, and I respond to that, and that's fine. But yeah, so that's the main reason for this change. I wanted to be more clear about it. If this were a business, and it's not because it's losing me lots of money actually, but I guess in the business world you would call this brand recognition. To have a clearer, more concise sort of brand. I don't like that terminology very much, but I guess that's what it boils down to, right? There's less confusion. It's more clear. The background for the logo is a map now. It's an old map of the world, and there is a very clear reason for this, and that's the second topic. I did sit down and think about the channel a little, like, what am I doing? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do this year, next year? And I recognize that I have become mostly a strategy games channel. Which is not really a surprise because that's what I do play most, also when I don't record. And it's a genre I love. I've always loved, but then I discovered paradox games. And that's the rest is history, as they say. So I think it was time to acknowledge that a little bit, hence the world map. I also like it, actually. I love maps. I draw maps myself. I'm a map maker, not by profession, but it's a hobby. And I love maps, so that is actually not a bad idea either. The thing is that being a strategy games channel, I think it's time to actually acknowledge that and to work with it. They say that every YouTube channel sort of sooner or later finds their niche. Well, strategy games is what I do, right? So I'm German, and we like to make plans and, toss around numbers and stuff. So I thought that my goal, and this is of course not set in stone, but it's more like a guideline I set for myself, is that the channel will be split into three sort of general sections or topics or whatever you want to call them, genres. The biggest one is strategy games. The second biggest that I want to cover is role-playing games. I know that I haven't done that a lot lately, but it is something I want to reintroduce and maybe introduce really, because that is the second genre I like to play the most. And the third one is, well, uninspired. I call it other. So I thought it would make sense to make this like a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 distribution, sort of. That is, let's say we have, 3 parts strategy games, 2 parts role-playing games, 1 part other. Whatever. Just a rough weighting, not exact percentages. Strategy games would be obviously the Paradox stuff, but also maybe if I play something like XCOM again or tactical games of any sort, that would all go into strategy. The second part, role-playing games, I did have a aborted Skyrim series way back in the days. But yeah, I love Skyrim and the Elder Scroll games. I love some MMOs, like I do still play very casually Guild Wars. I love the Neverwinter Nights games. I love the Gold Box games, Dungeon Master, Legend of Grimrock. Darkest Dungeon was awesome, and there's going to be a DLC for that, the Crimson Court, so that will get covered for sure. That sort of thing, right? There is, of course, a certain overlap between strategy, especially tactical games, and role-playing games. And there's also a certain, let's say, it's like a gray area between role-playing games and adventure games. Adventure games is also something I want to keep covering. That's going to be more in the quote-unquote other category. And yes, before you ask, Myst Exile is not off the table. But I'm not going to say any names, dates, or anything because I don't know yet. But yeah, so adventure games, that would be your Myst, your Rivens, the Abduction stuff. It will be either co-commentated with Fireweaver or someone else, or I will do some stuff solo. I want to play some of the LucasArts games, for example, especially the older ones. Stuff like that. We'll see. But there's also going to be, maybe I will return to not Darkest Dungeon. Yes, I will do that too. But the Long Dark is the one that I mean. Survivor games, that sort of stuff. Subnautica would go into the quote unquote other category, as would be the Long Dark. And what else have I been playing? Yeah, I think those are good examples. Oh yeah, the detour into Scrap Mechanic. Here, what's it called? Space Engineers, if I ever return to that. That would all be good examples for the other section of the channel. I do play a lot of different stuff, and if I find something interesting that I think films well, then I will cover it at least briefly on the channel for sure. I don't want to focus. The main reason here is I don't want to focus on just strategy, right? I could do that. I could really concentrate on it. It would probably accelerate the growth of the channel. But that's just not me. And frankly, if I play only one type of games for the next 10 years, I'm just gonna probably not want to do it anymore at some point. So there's gonna be some variety here. If you have any sort of suggestions of what to play, either in one of these three broad categories, or maybe something else that you think, oh, hey, Bartmoss, you didn't think of whatever. Why don't you play whatever? It would fit your channel really well. And then I may say whatever. But no, I do appreciate such feedback. So do post that in the comment section below. I think that's it mostly. There is, in terms of videos, not really anything new on the horizon. The France campaign is gonna end at the end of May. I think, I don't really remember the exact date, but it should go roughly until the end of May. And I do want to finish at least the EO4 series before I start anything new, and that could still go on for most of June, if not all. And yeah, so before I start anything new, I want to finish something old. And Hearts of Iron 4. It's going to be Hearts of Iron 4. When I finish one Hearts of Iron 4 thing, there's almost certainly going to be another one soon after. That's pretty much it from me for now. As always, if you have any sort of feedback or suggestions, do post them. I do still read every comment. I don't reply to every comment anymore, which is basically because oftentimes I just really don't have anything to say, and then I will not say anything. But I do read everything. I do consider all feedback, even the suggestions I do not take. And I greatly, greatly appreciate that and the support that you guys have been giving me. When I started this, I will just end on this. I would have never, ever expected the channel to approach 2,000 subscribers. It's still going to be a few weeks/months until that happens, if it happens. But I never thought this would happen. I was like, hey, if one person watches my stuff, then that's a bonus, right? And yeah, here you all are and are watching me, and that's kind of insane and awesome. And yeah, I'll just stop here before I get tongue tied again, because I really don't know what to say about that except that it is incredibly awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the actual game content tonight. It's EU4 night, and I still haven't recorded it, so that's what I'm gonna do next. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.